Today I'm going to tell you about the movie Mine. Mike Stevens is a U.S. Marine sniper and his friend Tommy Madison is a radio operator and observer on a mission in North Africa. They are tasked with eliminating the terrorist leader, but something did not go according to plan. The terrorist leader did not arrive alone. Along with him came Bedouins who had come to marry one of their girls. Mike hesitates to shoot as he's not sure if the right man is in front of him. The commanding officers order him to eliminate the target, but Mike hesitates. The bride and groom get caught in the scope. When they step aside, Mike cannot identify the target and thinking that another person is in front of him raises his rifle to respond to Tommy's objection. As a result, the sight shines in the sun. The terrorists' guards notice this and open fire on Mike and Tommy. They have to flee, but thanks to a sandstorm they still make it out of the firefight alive. The partners contact the commanders and they send them to an evacuation point a few kilometers away in a Berber village. On the way to the evacuation point, it turns out that Tommy has a young son waiting at home, and Micah is the girl he never dared to propose to. A sandstorm rips off a sign, carefully mines, and brings it under the feet of the protagonist, and in the sand he finds a toy soldier. Mike is bothered by this sign, but Tommy says that it is old and it is not necessary to pay attention to it. Mike worries about the sign. He thinks about it all the way through the plane. Tommy undermines one of these mines. Mike tries to save him, makes a step, and he stepped on the mine. He hears the click of a fuse and stops abruptly. Tommy's legs are blown off. He's bloody. He can't think. Mike tells him to inject morphine so that Tommy can reach the backpack with the radio. He does so, but because of the shock, Tommy is unable to think clearly and cannot summon command. He can't take it anymore and shoots himself in the head, but before he does he asks Mike to tell his son that he loved him. Mike, desperate, uses shoelaces, an axe, and a sniper rifle belt to fasten his radio backpack, but his radio batteries are dead and the spare batteries are in Tommy's breast pocket, so he connects the radio to a solar panel to recharge it. When the radio station is recharged, a little Mike gets on the phone with the command, reports the situation and asks for immediate evacuation. But they report that they can evacuate him only 52 hours later, as the military got into a skirmish and cannot arrive to the place of evacuation immediately. Mike sets the countdown and prepares to wait. He runs out of water and little food is left. Not one of his problems. Another storm is coming out of the desert. Mike manages to wrap a protective cloth around his face. He rests his rifle stuck in the sand and holds his backpack with his other hand. The sandstorm is too strong. He loses the backpack. When the storm leaves, he finds Tommy's body lying beside him. From his pocket, Mike pulls out spare batteries. The water runs out. The sun sizzles mercilessly. Mike loses his last hope. He takes out his gun, shoots a few times in the air, and then presents the barrel of the gun to his temple, at which point the local Berber man appears. Mike asks him to fetch water and hand him the radio from his backpack. The Berber laughs at Mike's situation and leaves. Realizing that there is no other option, Mike agonizes into his hydropack and is ready to drink. A little girl with a flask of water appears from behind the hill. She gives him the water and shows him a toy soldier just like the one that Mike found in the desert. He asks the girl to bring him a radio, but the girl just runs away. As the long, cold night draws near, Mike's strength is fading, and he realizes that if he falls asleep or collapses from exhaustion, the mine will explode. He makes a fire from the dried twigs that were nearby and tries to keep warm. In the middle of the night, when the darkness has become particularly thick, the cries of predators resound in the silence, keeping Mike awake even when the fire of the small fire goes out. Mike starts to shoot back and even kills a few animals. Then he turns on his flashlight and sees Tommy's body being dragged away by hungry predators. Mike is initiated by a vision, a memory from his childhood of his father beating his mother. Mike even tried to fight his imaginary father. In the morning, Mike nearly falls off his feet and is greeted again by Berber, who says that Mike is lucky to have survived the night in the desert with the predators without being blown up by a landmine. Berber tells him to take the next step to free himself. Mike takes this as a taunt. They start talking. He asks Berber to give him the walkie-talkie. Berber complies, but then leaves. Time in the heat goes by too long. Mike begins to hallucinate. He thinks Tommy has come to life, gets up out of the sand and starts talking to Mike. Another cold night arrives. This time Mike has no fire or strength to fight the predators. They slowly approach. Mike starts shooting back until his gun runs out of ammo. Then the predators rush at him. Mike's consciousness once again gives him a hallucination about how he once defeated 4 big men in a bar to protect a waitress who later became his girlfriend. When the vision ended, Michael realized he had slaughtered all the predators. Tommy, or rather his vision, was with Mike all night. In the morning, the command said that the military had been delayed and would not arrive until 17 hours later. In desperation, Mike threw away the watch he used to keep track of the time until the evacuation. He began to think he was talking to Jenny, his girlfriend. He apologized to her, saying he loved her, and began to pass out, but a sudden appearance of Berber kept him on his feet. Berber treated T-shirt's wounds left by the predators and told him that he should hold on, that he was lucky to be alive. They struck up a new conversation. Berber tells that he himself was once blown up by a landmine. He and his daughter used to dig them out and sell them to the partisans. His daughter used to put tins instead of mines. One day his daughter was blown up by a mine and died, and he lost his leg, now replaced with a wooden prosthetic. He also told me that he was the one who brought T-shirt water and that his daughter only dreamed about it. He said that after his leg was amputated he did not want to live, but in a moment of extreme despair he realized that he had to move on. Now he has a wife and 2 Berber children. He gives Mike some kind of drink, warning him that he will hallucinate, but that he will be fine later. Berber then leaves, leaving Mike with his hallucinations alone. Mike again sees his drunken father beating his mother and later himself. He even tries to resist, but the scene changes. He is transported to a bar where he defends his girlfriend to be. Then he sees them fighting and realizes he is turning into his father. Jenny waits for him to propose marriage, but Mike does not notice it. Also in his visions appears his dying mother on a hospital bed. From his hallucination, the voice of military men comes out on the radio, and they pass a few kilometers away in cars ready to take him if he gives a signal. Well, to reach the smoke bomb he has to get off the mine. He is afraid to take that step. This time the military are moving further and further away from him. They shoot at Mike. The terrorists surround him, but he is not yet ready to surrender. He shoots back with his sniper rifle, killing them one by one. Among the sands, Mike's father slowly approaches, wearing a sign and smirk on his face. Mike points his gun at him but hesitates to shoot his father. He realizes he is ready to forgive his father and puts the gun down. They embrace. The hallucinations disappear and Mike sees the military cars moving farther away. He nevertheless decides to make a move and take a smoke bomb. Mike steps off the mine, but it doesn't explode. He doesn't understand what is happening. Cautiously he digs out the mine and instead finds a tin can left by the Berber's daughter. Exhausted and crippled, he cries from happiness, falls on the sand and takes a smoke bomb and signals to the military. He is spotted. Red smoke has risen over the desert, and sappers cautiously approach him through a minefield. Mike is taken away and sent back to his homeland. At the airport, Mike, together with other servicemen, goes to his relatives. There is a toy soldier on a chain hanging around his neck near his military tags with his personal number and other data. In the crowd of people meeting him, he notices Jenny, who is happy that her beloved has returned unharmed. She wants to hug Mike, but he stops one step away from her, looks her in the eye, gets down on one knee, and is ready to propose.